The war had ended only a week ago, but the sky above the alien capital still burned with the strange green light of their twin moons. Sergeant Alex Carter stood in the center of a round stone hall, his boots echoing against the polished floor. He had fought through storms of fire to save civilians on both sides, yet now every eye in the room watched him like he was an enemy. High balconies curved around the chamber. On each ledge sat tall figures with silver-blue skin and eyes like shards of ice. They were the Arakai, the rulers of this world. Their flowing robes shimmered like moving water as they whispered in their own language. Alex could not understand their words, but he felt the weight of their judgment in every glance. Beside him, a single translator drone floated, its faint hum the only friendly sound. "Do not speak until questioned," it warned in a calm, mechanical voice. Alex clenched his fist but nodded. He had learned to follow orders. He had survived too many battles to risk a careless word. At the far end of the hall, the High Arbiter entered. She was taller than the others, with silver braids that caught the moonlight. Her eyes met Alex's, sharp and unreadable. "Human soldier," the drone translated. "You stand accused of crimes against our harmony. You entered forbidden lands. You brought weapons to sacred soil. You disturbed the balance of our young." Alex's heart pounded. He remembered the mission clearly. A rescue of trapped Arakai villagers caught between retreating armies. He had saved lives. He had carried children to safety. "I was trying to help," he said before he could stop himself. The hall hissed with soft, disapproving murmurs. The drone vibrated nervously. "Silence until permission," it said. Alex bit his lip. He thought of the children he had carried out of the burning forest. Their small silver faces streaked with ash, the way they had clung to him, trusting a stranger. Was that his crime, touching them to save them? The High Arbiter raised one elegant hand. The hall fell silent. "You say you helped," the translator repeated her words. "But your help breaks the pattern of growth. Our young must face the trial of fire alone. To lift them from the flames is to steal their becoming." Alex felt the floor tilt beneath him. He had saved them from death. How could that be wrong? "I could not let them burn," he whispered. "Intent does not cleanse disruption," the Arbiter replied through the drone. "The balance must be restored." The chamber doors opened with a low boom. Two Arakai guardians stepped forward, their spears glowing faint blue. They did not point the weapons at him, but the meaning was clear. A trial had already been decided. Alex's thoughts raced. No one from Earth Command was here. No lawyer, no fellow soldier, no friend. Just him, a stranger under alien law. He remembered the smell of smoke, the cries of the children, and a single promise he had made to himself during the war. Never again would he let the innocent suffer. That promise had brought him here. The High Arbiter spoke again, her voice like stone and wind. "Until the moons complete their circle, you will remain in our custody. Your duty will be given when the Council of Renewal gathers. You will learn what it means to mend what you have broken." The words echoed, heavy and final. Alex felt a cold knot form in his chest. He had survived battles and firestorms, but this was different. He was not a hero here. He was a disturbance, a name in an alien judgment. As the Guardians led him away, the hall's green light dimmed. Outside, the twin moons hung over the city like watchful eyes. Alex looked up at them and wondered how a man who saved children could still be called guilty. And deep inside, beneath the fear, a spark of defiance began to burn. The guards led Alex through silent corridors carved from pale crystal. Their long steps made no sound, but his boots struck a lonely rhythm. He felt like a shadow in someone else's dream. The air smelled faintly of salt and ozone, like a storm waiting beyond the walls. They stopped at a circular chamber with a single door that dissolved open when the taller guard touched it. Inside, smooth glass walls curved up into a soft glow like moonlight trapped in water. There was a low sleeping mat, a basin of clear liquid, and nothing else. The door sealed behind him without a click. Alex pressed his palm against it, cool and unyielding. No hinges, no handle. He exhaled slowly. So this is a cell, he thought. No bars, just beauty that you can't escape. For a long time, he simply stood there, trying to slow his heartbeat. He remembered training drills where silence was a weapon. But this silence was different. It pressed against his mind, whispering doubts hours, maybe more, passed before the wall shimmered. A faint oval of light appeared, and from it stepped a figure. She was Arakai, but smaller than the Tribunal elders, with deep blue markings across her skin. Her eyes were dark, not icy, and her robe was simple white. I am Sarah, said the translator device hovering near her shoulder. I am your caretaker during the moon's circle. Alex tilted his head. Caretaker or guard? Her lips curved slightly. Both, perhaps. I bring food. She placed a tray on a low shelf, a bowl of translucent fruit that glowed like captured dawn. He hesitated. Will it kill me? It will fill you, she answered, a soft amusement in her tone. Alex almost smiled despite the weight in his chest. Then thank you. Sarah studied him for a long breath. You saved younglings, she said quietly. Why? They were burning, Alex replied. I couldn't leave them. Our young must face the trial of flame. Surviving it shapes the heart. You broke the shaping. I saved lives, he insisted, anger sparking. How can that be a crime? Sarah lowered her gaze. It is not simple for us. We are woven by trial. Without it, we are unfinished. Alex ran a hand through his short hair. Better unfinished than dead. She looked up, her dark eyes troubled. Perhaps. But the council believes balance was torn. The words struck him like cold rain. He wanted to argue, to shout that life mattered more than their rituals. But the way she stood, calm yet uncertain, held him back. Days slid past, marked only by the slow brightening and fading of the glass walls. Sarah returned each cycle with food and quiet conversation. She told him of the Arakai moons, of winds that sang across crystal plains. He told her about Earth's mountains, about rain that smelled of soil. Sometimes they sat without words, listening to the faint hum of the walls. Alex began to see how her silence carried meaning, how her eyes revealed small flashes of thought. He also felt the weight of the trial ahead. The Council of Renewal would decide his duty, and no amount of quiet meals could change that. One evening, when the outer sky glowed green with twin moonrise, Sarah asked, Do humans fear being changed? Alex paused. We fear losing what makes us ourselves. Perhaps that is what the council will test, she said softly. Not your guilt, but your shape. He thought of battles fought to keep people free. No one can shape me without my choice. Her expression flickered. Admiration or worry, he could not tell. Choice, she repeated, as if tasting the word. Later, alone again, Alex lay on the mat staring at the glowing ceiling. His mind replayed the rescue. Smoke choking the sky, children crying, their tiny arms clinging to him. If saving them meant breaking an alien rule, he would do it again. Yet a quiet fear crept in. What if their punishment wasn't chains or pain, but something stranger? Something that could break the core of who he was. Outside the moons climbed higher, two silent witnesses. Alex closed his eyes, the spark of defiance from the tribunal now a steady flame. Whatever the council planned, he would face it on his own terms. The green light of the twin moons spread across the glass cell as morning arrived. Alex awoke to a low chime that vibrated through the walls. It was not harsh, but it carried a weight that made his chest tighten. Today was the day of the Council of Renewal. The door melted open and Sarah entered, her white robe edged with soft silver. She carried no tray of food, only a thin band of crystal in her hands. It is time, she said, her voice steady but her eyes troubled. Alex sat up. They're ready to decide my punishment? They will decide your path, Sarah replied. She held out the crystal band. This is the mark of witness. It shows that you accept the council's presence. Alex stood and slipped the band over his wrist. It fit cold and tight like ice around his skin. Do I have a choice? He asked. There is always a choice, Sarah said, though her voice wavered. Two guards led them through long corridors lit with soft blue fire. The air smelled of minerals and distant rain. Alex kept his head high, though his heart beat hard. He remembered the flames of the forest, the small hands of the children he had carried. That memory became his armor. The council chamber was larger than he imagined. Pillars of crystal rose like frozen lightning, catching moonlight and scattering it into shifting rainbows. Around a wide circle sat 12 elders in flowing robes, each with eyes bright as distant stars. The High Arbiter stood at the center, her silver braids shining. Human soldier, the translator drone echoed her voice. You have been called to restore balance. Will you hear the judgment of the Council of Renewal? I will listen, Alex said, his voice calm though his stomach turned. The High Arbiter gestured to the elders. A low hum filled the chamber as they began to speak in their own language. The sound was like wind through stone canyons, rising, falling, weaving around him. The drone translated only fragments. Disturbance. Courage, bonding of worlds. Trial of spirit. Finally, the High Arbiter raised her hand and the voices ceased. Your action saved lives, she said through the drone, but you disrupted the shaping of our young. To mend this, you must enter the rite of becoming. Alex frowned. What is that? It is a journey of soul, she replied. You will travel with a circle of younglings who have yet to face their second trial. You will guide, protect, and suffer with them. You will not lead as a warrior, but walk as one of them. Only then can balance return. Alex exhaled slowly. So I'm their guardian? Not guardian, the Arbiter said. Companion. You will not command. You will share their tests, their fears, their growth. You will return only when they call you brother. A murmur moved through the elders like distant thunder. Sarah stepped forward slightly, her dark eyes fixed on Alex, as if silently urging him to accept. Alex's mind raced. He had survived deserts, firefights, and years of discipline, but this was different. To walk with alien children through trials he did not understand, without weapons, without command, was to strip away the soldier he had always been. What happens if I refuse? He asked, the High Arbiter's gaze sharpened. Then the broken pattern remains. Our young will question mercy. Our people will remember the human who saved life but rejected balance. You will return to your world as a shadow of conflict. The hall grew silent. Alex felt the weight of two worlds pressing against him. He thought of Earth, of comrades who believed in helping the helpless. He thought of the small Arakai faces, streaked with ash and tears. He thought of Sarah, who had shown him quiet kindness. He took a deep breath. I'll do it, he said. The elders exhaled in a soft collective sigh. The High Arbiter inclined her head. So the balance begins. After the chamber emptied, Sarah approached. There was something like relief in her eyes. You chose well, she said. Alex managed a thin smile. I hope so. What exactly am I getting into? You will walk through the crystal plains, Sarah explained. Storms of light will test the heart. Shadows of memory will speak. You must stay beside the younglings, never ahead, never behind. Sounds like a long hike, Alex said, though he sensed it was far more than that. It is more than a journey, she agreed softly. It is a mirror. It shows what you truly are. Later, back in the glass cell, Alex packed the simple garments Sarah gave him, a gray tunic, strong boots, a cloak that shimmered like mist. He stared at the twin moons rising again, their green light washing over the city. Fear tugged at him, but beneath it burned the same stubborn flame that had carried him through every battle. He whispered to the empty room, I saved them once. I can walk with them now. Outside, the moons glowed brighter, as if silently agreeing. The next dawn broke in a slow sweep of pale blue. Alex left the glass cell wearing the simple gray tunic and mist-colored cloak Sarah had given him. The fabric felt light but strong, like it held a quiet strength of its own. Sarah met him at the gate of the tribunal hall, her eyes steady. The younglings wait, she said softly. I will guide you to the start of their path. After that, they lead and you follow. Outside the city walls, the world stretched wide and strange. Towers of crystal caught the morning light, turning the horizon into a sea of fire and glass. Sharp winds carried a faint musical hum as if the land itself whispered a song. Alex drew the cloak tighter and felt the cold bite his skin. A group of 6 Arakai children stood near a stone arch. Their silver blue skin shimmered under the twin moons that still hung low. They looked at Alex with a mixture of curiosity and caution. The tallest, a boy with narrow eyes, stepped forward. I am Kale, the translator drone announced in a quick, clear voice. We walk the plains of becoming. You are to walk with us? Yes, Alex answered. I'm here to share the journey. Kyle studied him, then gave a small nod. The other younglings relaxed slightly. Behind them, Sarah placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. Remember, she said, you are neither leader nor protector. You are companion. The trial will test you as much as them. They set off beneath a sky streaked with silver clouds. The crystal ground rang faintly with each step, as if it remembered every traveler who had walked there before. Alex kept to the middle of the group, matching their pace. The children moved with a quiet confidence. They spoke little, but their eyes drank in every color of the shifting plains. Sometimes the crystals underfoot glowed soft pink or sudden green. Alex felt like he was walking through a dream carved from light. Hours passed. The twin moons faded while a sun of pale gold climbed high. Heat shimmered on the horizon, but a cool wind swept across the plain, carrying a scent like rain on metal. Alex thought of deserts back on Earth, of long patrols under an unforgiving sun. Yet here, even the silence seemed alive. By midday, they reached a canyon of tall crystal spires. Shadows cut deep blue shapes across the path. Kyle raised a hand and the group stopped. He looked back at Alex, eyes thoughtful. "This place," the drone translated, "shows the fears we keep hidden." Before Alex could reply, the spires began to hum, a low, vibrating note that grew into a chorus. The air shimmered and images formed inside the crystal walls. Alex froze. He saw flashes of his past, a battlefield burning under a red sky, soldiers calling his name the moment he failed to pull a wounded friend to safety. The memory hit like a punch to the chest. He heard his friend's last words echo. "Go, Alex, go." Alex clenched his fists. The guilt he thought buried came alive again. He felt the younglings watching. His knees trembled, but he forced himself to breathe. "It wasn't your fault," he whispered to the memory. "I tried. I did everything I could." The crystal light softened. The vision faded, leaving only the quiet hum of the canyon. Kale stepped closer. "You did not hide," the drone said for him. "That is good." Alex met the boy's gaze and nodded. "Everyone has ghosts," he said. "We face them or they own us." The children seemed to understand. One by one they touched the nearest crystal, and faint images flickered inside, shadows of their own fears. Some wept, some simply stood silent. Alex stayed with them, neither guiding nor shielding, only sharing the stillness until the last echo faded. They walked on through the afternoon. The landscape shifted again, wide fields of glassy sand where the wind carved patterns like frozen waves. The younglings began to speak more freely, their voices light with relief. A girl named Nira asked, "Why did you save us from the forest fire?" Alex thought for a moment. "Because life is precious," he said. "Because if I can help, I must, even if it breaks rules." She asked, "Especially then," Alex answered. "Rules should protect life, not take it." The children exchanged quiet glances. Alex sensed they were turning his words over like small stones in their minds. As dusk fell, they reached a ridge where the crystal ground glowed soft blue. They made camp beneath a tall arch that sparkled like captured starlight. The younglings built a small fire of mineral sticks that burned without smoke. They sat together, sharing dried fruit that tasted of honey and salt. The sky deepened to violet as the twin moons rose once more. Their light painted every face in silver. Kale looked at Alex across the flames. "The planes test us," he said, "but you carry many tests already." Alex nodded. "Every soldier carries them. We just learned to walk anyway." Sarah's words returned to him. "The journey is a mirror. It shows what you truly are." He felt the truth of it in the quiet company of the children, in the strange beauty of this world that no longer felt like a prison. When the moons reached their highest point, the younglings lay down to sleep. Alex remained awake for a while, watching the soft glow of the crystals and listening to the steady breathing of his companions. He thought of Earth, of comrades long gone, of choices made under fire. He thought of the day he carried silver-skinned children through smoke and flame. He had come here as a prisoner. Yet sitting under alien moons, he felt something shift inside, a small, unexpected peace. Morning came with a pale gold glow. The crystal ridge shimmered as if the land itself stretched awake. Alex rose before the younglings, rolling his shoulders to shake off the night's chill. For a moment he simply watched them sleep, their faces calm beneath the green moons fading into daylight. He felt an unexpected warmth. "I was sent here as punishment," he thought, "but these kids, they trust me." The thought both comforted and unsettled him. Kale stirred first, blinking silver eyes. "Today we reach the Sky Veil," the translator drone whispered. "It is the second trial." "What's the Sky Veil?" Alex asked. "A storm made of light," Kale replied, voice still thick with sleep. "It tests the bond between hearts." They broke camp and moved across the plains. The ground grew smoother, almost liquid beneath their boots. A faint humming filled the air, rising in pitch as they walked. By midday, the horizon burned with shifting colors, blue, violet, gold, like a living curtain of lightning. The Sky Veil. The younglings paused, eyes wide. Even Alex stopped to stare. It was like standing at the edge of a living rainbow, except the colors moved in slow, thunderous waves. The hum grew into a deep vibration that rattled his bones. Kale turned to the group. Inside the veil we must hold to each other. If one is lost, the path ends for all. The children formed a circle, hands clasped. They looked to Alex. He joined without hesitation, feeling their small fingers grip his. The vibration from the storm throbbed through the ground into their joined hands. They stepped forward. The world exploded in color. Light poured around them, green, gold, crimson, shimmering and twisting like a sea of living glass. Alex felt weightless and heavy at once. His heart pounded in rhythm with the thunderous hum. Flashes of memory darted across the light. His mother's smile, a rain-soaked street back on Earth, the scream of rockets over a battlefield. Each memory burned bright, then vanished. Beside him, Nira gasped. The circle wavered. Alex tightened his grip. "Stay together," he shouted. The storm answered with a sudden burst of searing blue. The ground vanished. They floated in pure light. Alex felt the children's fear as if it were his own. He focused on the warmth of their hands. "Breathe," he called over the roar. "All of you. Breathe with me." They inhaled and exhaled together, a fragile rhythm against the endless storm. Then came the whispers. Voices filled the light, soft, tempting, let go. Return to the comfort of home. Alex's mind trembled. He saw Earth again. Green forests, warm kitchens, friends long gone. The voices promised rest, peace, the end of struggle, but he felt the small hands gripping his. He heard Kale's steady breathing. He remembered flames in a forest and the promise he made to himself. Never abandon the innocent. "No," he growled. "We stay together. All of us." The storm flared blinding white. Pain stabbed behind his eyes. Still he held on. Slowly the light softened. The roar faded to a gentle hum. Shapes returned, the shimmering ground, the pale sky. They stood on the far side of the sky veil, still in a circle, still holding hands. The younglings looked at one another in stunned silence. Then Nira laughed, a bright ringing sound that broke the tension. "We are whole," Kale said, his voice full of wonder. Alex exhaled a shaky breath. His arms trembled, but his heart felt steady. "You all did it," he said. "You did it with us," Kale replied. They rested beneath a tall crystal arch that glowed soft violet. The children shared fruit and water, their faces alight with quiet pride. Alex sat apart for a moment, staring back at the faint shimmer of the sky veil behind them. He realized he no longer felt like a prisoner or an outsider. He was part of their circle, bound by trial and trust. The thought filled him with an unexpected peace and a deeper sense of responsibility. Sarah's words echoed in his mind. "The journey is a mirror." It shows what you truly are, Alex understood now. The mirror didn't just show fear or guilt. It showed choice. He had chosen to stay, to hold on, to fight for the bond between hearts. As twilight fell and the twin moons began to rise, Kyle came to sit beside him. "One more trial remains," the boy said. "The Heart of Echoes. It shows the future we carry." Alex looked at the moons glowing above the endless crystal plain. "Then we face it together," he said. Kale nodded, a small, proud smile touching his lips. The camp grew quiet. Stars shimmered above like cold diamonds. Alex lay awake, feeling the steady warmth of the younglings nearby. The alien world no longer seemed strange or hostile. It felt like a place where bonds were forged stronger than steel. For the first time in years, he closed his eyes and slept without dreams of war. Dawn returned in soft lavender light. Alex woke to the sound of quiet voices and the shimmer of dew on crystal sand. The younglings were already awake, sitting in a small circle. Their faces glowed with a calm strength born of the Sky Veil's trial. Kale looked up as Alex approached. "Today we reach the Heart of Echoes," the translator drone said. "It is the last step." Alex knelt beside them. "What happens there?" "The heart shows the future that lives inside us," Nira replied. "It speaks in echoes. We must listen with courage." Alex nodded. Then we listened together. They began their journey as the sun climbed pale and cold. The plains shifted around them, crystal towers melting into rolling dunes of glassy sand. A faint ringing filled the air, a sound like distant chimes carried on the wind. Each step made the chimes grow louder. After hours of walking, they reached a vast hollow where the ground dipped into a wide basin. At the center rose a single stone, dark and smooth, unlike the glowing crystals everywhere else. A thin mist curled around it. "The heart," Kyle whispered. The children approached, forming a circle around the stone. Alex felt a strange pull, like the quiet before a storm. The ringing deepened into a slow heartbeat. The stone pulsed with a soft light. Then the air shimmered and filled with sound. Not words at first, but layered echoes of music, laughter, and cries. Images began to swirl around each child. Visions of tall cities, wide rivers, endless skies. Each youngling stood transfixed as their own future unfolded. Alex watched in silence. He saw Kale standing as a leader before a great gathering. He saw Nira painting the air with light, her hands weaving colors unknown to Earth. Each vision carried hope and challenge. Then the stone flared and turned its light toward Alex. He felt a shock, as if the ground had vanished. Images burst around him. A return to Earth. Soldiers greeting him with cheers, but their faces blurred and faded. Another vision, himself standing on a new world with Arakai and humans working side by side, building homes of crystal and steel. He heard children's laughter, human and Arakai together. Then darkness came, showing him alone, wandering battlefields empty of life. The echoes spoke, soft but clear. Choose the path you will walk. Your heart shapes more than your steps. Alex's chest tightened. He thought of the war that had brought him here, of the promise he had made to protect life no matter the cost. He thought of the younglings beside him, their trust given freely. I choose life, he whispered. I choose to build, not destroy. The echoes deepened, warm and bright. The visions of war dissolved. In their place he saw a bridge of crystal stretching between worlds. Humans and Arakai walking together. The stone's light softened and the heartbeat faded to a gentle chime. Silence settled over the basin. The younglings opened their eyes one by one. Kyle looked at Alex, a question in his gaze. What did you see? The drone asked for him. A future worth fighting for, Alex said simply. The children smiled. Small, knowing smiles that needed no translation. A soft wind stirred the mist. From the ridge above, Sarah appeared, her white robe bright against the pale sky. She walked down to them, her eyes shining with quiet pride. The heart of echoes accepts you, she said. The council will know that balance has returned. Alex met her gaze. It wasn't just me, he said. They carried me as much as I carried them. Sarah inclined her head. That is the truth of the right. They began the long walk back under a sky painted with late afternoon gold. The younglings spoke more freely now, their voices full of hope and laughter. Alex listened, feeling their energy as a living current. When they paused for rest, Nira sat beside him. Will you stay when we return? She asked. Alex looked toward the distant horizon where the twin moons waited to rise. I don't know, he admitted, but a part of me will never leave. As twilight deepened, the lights of the Arakai city shimmered far away like a cluster of stars fallen to the ground. Alex felt a strange tug. Nostalgia for a place that was not his home and yet had claimed his heart. He realized the Tribunal's punishment had become a gift. The journey had stripped him of rank, weapons, and old wounds, leaving only the choice of who he wanted to be. Under the first glow of moonlight, Alex walked beside the younglings, no longer a stranger or prisoner, but a companion bound by trust and shared trial. The heart of echoes still pulsed faintly behind them, a quiet reminder that the future was not a sentence but a promise waiting to be lived. The moons were high when the group finally reached the gates of the Arakai city. Their pale light poured across the crystal streets, turning every surface into silver fire. Alex walked at the center of the younglings, his boots ringing softly in rhythm with their smaller steps. Sarah waited near the great stone arch of the Tribunal hall. Her calm face brightened when she saw them. You have returned, she said, voice carrying a quiet pride. All of you. Kel stepped forward, his head held high. We walked the plains of becoming. We faced the sky veil. We listened at the heart of echoes. We are whole. The translator drone repeated the words in a gentle echo. The other children stood taller, their silver blue skin glowing in the moonlight. Alex felt their courage like a warm tide. Inside the grand chamber, the elders of the Council of Renewal waited. The High Arbiter rose, silver braids catching the twin moon glow. Her eyes swept over the younglings, then rested on Alex. You have walked the right as one of our own, she said through the drone. You shared their trials, their fears, their strength. Balance has returned, she turned to the children. Do you call this human, brother? Kale and the others spoke as one, their voices like soft thunder. Brother. The word struck Alex's heart with quiet force. For a moment he could not speak. He simply nodded, the lump in his throat too strong for words. The High Arbiter faced him again. Your sentence is fulfilled. You are free to leave our world whenever you wish. Yet you may also remain if your heart chooses. Alex looked at the younglings, their bright eyes reflecting trust and pride. He thought of Earth, green forests, long-lost comrades, the smell of rain after battle. He also thought of these children of crystal plains and echoing hearts. I came here as a soldier, he said slowly. I leave as something more. Whatever path I take, a part of me belongs here now. The elders inclined their heads in silent respect. After the formal words, Sarah guided Alex out into the cool night. The city lights shimmered below like a constellation pulled down from the sky. They walked side by side along a high terrace where the wind carried the faint music of distant chimes. You have changed, Sarah said softly. So have they, Alex replied. They taught me more than any war ever did. Sarah studied his face. Will you stay? Alex looked toward the horizon where the crystal plains glowed faintly under moonlight. For a while, he said. There's work to do, bridges to build between our worlds. Maybe that's the real mission I was meant for. Sarah's lips curved in a small, knowing smile. Then our balance is truly mended. The next days passed in a gentle rhythm. Alex visited the younglings as they shared stories of the right. He walked the markets where humans and Arakai exchanged goods and laughter. Wherever he went, strangers greeted him not as an outsider but as a brother of the plains. One evening, Kale found him standing near the city wall. Will you teach us of Earth? The boy asked. Alex smiled. Yes, and you can teach me more of your stars. They stood together, gazing at the endless sky where unfamiliar constellations burned. When the time finally came to decide, Alex sent a message to Earth Command. Mission complete. I'll remain here as liaison between our peoples. This world needs a bridge, and I can be that bridge. He felt no sense of exile, only a quiet certainty. That night, the council held a gathering under the open moons. Humans from the nearby outpost joined Arakai citizens in a circle of song and light. Children danced, their laughter rising like bright sparks. Alex stood among them. No longer a soldier defined by war, no longer a prisoner defined by judgment. He was a traveler who had chosen connection over conflict. Sarah approached and placed a small crystal in his hand. A gift, she said. It holds the echo of your journey. When you look into it, you will remember the balance you helped restore. Alex held the crystal to the moonlight. It glowed softly, carrying the colors of the sky veil and the quiet strength of the heart of echoes. As the gathering continued, Alex looked around at the faces, human and Arakai, old and young, sharing food, music, and laughter. He felt the weight of the past lift like mist under morning sun. He understood at last. Humanity's greatest strength was not power or weapons, but the stubborn will to reach across any distance and choose empathy over fear. Under the twin moons of a once hostile world, Alex Carter found his place not as a conqueror, not as a prisoner, but as a bridge between stars. The circle was complete. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.